Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We're here with the US Task Force. Yeah, and we're talking about Married at First Sight. Yes, reunion part 2. Reunion part 2. We're almost at the end, guys. We've almost reached the finishing line. And, I mean, it doesn't come without its, sparks and a couple surprises here and there. But I'm joined by two great commentators also on Married at First Sight. I'm joined by August Love and Jack and Glenn as well. And I'll let them introduce themselves as we go along. Before I go anywhere, please like the live if you've joined us. And as well, we will enjoy a good conversation today. August Love, if you could introduce yourselves.
Hi,
I'm Tommy.
and we are all over the internet as August Love Story.
Lovely, lovely. Jack and Glenn. I know Jack. Jack's not here, but go for it, Glenn.
Yeah, I'm Glenn, one half of Jack and Glenn. Jack's not here today, but we can find us on social media at Jack_Glenn, whether it's Twitter or Instagram, and also on YouTube at Jack Glenn. As he said, go like everybody, and we are ready for this part 2 of the reunion review. Let's rock.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow, fantastic. So I'll tell you what, we'll leave the high octane energy conversation to the end, because I know that's going to be the one that's going to be the talking point. Let's talk straight. Obviously, reunion part 2. We got I guess we got a little bit more insight into, I guess, Clara and Ryan. When I say a little bit, I mean it was a little bit. So Clara was becoming territorial. Because she felt like, obviously, I think I don't know if she'd been on Reddit or she had been watching people's reviews on YouTube, but she felt a little bit of a way about the way some people had said some things about them as a couple and said everybody should be nice. So I want to get kind of your thoughts. What was your kind of thoughts on the Clara and Ryan situation on reunion part 2? I know it's very, very short. But what did you get from that? Jack and Glenn? You ready, yeah? No, you open it up, you ready? No, you open it up, you're ready. I like it. No, I like it. Go for it, sir. You're ready. I like it.
Okay. I think Clara, I think she just said that because she was focusing more on what people were saying about Paige than anybody else. I felt, I'm 9 times out of 10 I'm wrong, but I felt that way. But I don't feel like, as a reviewer, as a person that actually enjoys the show, I don't feel like that for people to, like, there's ways to say what you want to say, but I don't feel like that for people to, like, just not talk about the negative things. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like, as a reviewer of the show and as a fan of the show, I don't feel like that would be doing justice to, like, my job as a reviewer, So I just kind of heard that one ear out the other. I was like, you just want people to be nice just because, like we all are one and love the world and all that stuff. So I just think that's what that was.
I felt like, I didn't think that it was for Paige specifically. I did feel like it was coming at the people that are reviewing the shows, that have the Married at First Sight Facebook groups, that are on Reddit and all those things. I'm pretty sure that she didn't like some of the things that were said specifically about her. But as I said in our review, sucks. You got to deal with it. You chose to go on TV. It's just one of those things. It's kind of like, for us, I remember Tommy and I put out a video sometime last year in regards to Ready to Love, and we were talking about financials in the video. Now, we never discussed how things run in our household in that video, but someone told me that I had to be miserable because of the way that we were discussing finances. Now, I've never let you in any part of my life. You're just projecting what you thought you heard, because we never mentioned anything. And with Clara, I'm sure it's the same thing. People project feelings onto you about the situation at hand, because there's only so much that we see of the actual footage that's recorded that actually airs on television. So with that, I think that, you can be sensitive about it, and you rightfully so. It's someone talking about you that doesn't know you, but it comes with the territory. There are always going to be people that talk about reality TV shows, and that's all Married at First Sight is a reality TV show.
Good points. I'm hearing that. It is a reality TV show, and we do comment, and we do project. You know what I mean? We can only talk about what we kind of see. So, the good points there. Glenn, talk to us, man. What was your thoughts on Clara making that statement?
I think she had a lot going on. I think she got tired of people talking about Ryan, how we perceive Ryan. I think she looked at a lot of things, a lot of the ways that we talked about. People talked about Ryan's sexuality. We talked about why they wasn't having sex. We talked about, I seen people where they was like, well, is Ryan really a guy or a girl, or is he a virgin, not a virgin? So I think she was putting out there a lot about Ryan, but I also think she put out this one too, because remember, her name was thrown out there a lot when it came to Haley and Jacob. In fact, that she was the one that told Jacob that Haley was hugged up or saw Haley hugged up with another guy. And so she was like, yo, why people basically lying on me? And I really can't comment, because even I think if you go on her Instagram, she made some a comment about that this week. I told Haley that I told Jacob she was downstairs or whatever, but I didn't really tell her she was hugged up with another guy. She tried to clean it up, whatever the case may be. Again, I think I agree with Artieka. When you sign up for this show, you sign all those documents, and they tell you in those documents that you may be liked, you may be loved, people may talk about you, you know what you're getting into, but you think finding love or finding a husband or finding a wife is more important than what we perceive. We only can talk about what we just shown. So whatever we don't see, we don't know. So with her, you and Ryan did a lot of stuff off camera that we don't know about. But what we saw is what we talk about. We know that you moved in at week number 4. It seemed like you ain't had no home. We know that you was clingy. You know what I'm saying? We knew that you want him to tell you love him, or that you whacked him off every night, and you wouldn't get nothing in return. So what you want us to do? Act like it didn't happen? Act like we can't talk and discuss it. This is what we do. We review shows. We talk about shows. People on Reddit write about shows. And so we as fans, we're invested. Let's not knock it. The show was the most rated Married at First Sight ever. I'm sure they probably get a bonus. Guess what? You're welcome. Because we talked about it enough that more people watched it. So that's my thing to her. Don't be so caught up in the fact that we're talking about you. If you don't do it, then we have nothing to talk about. You made the decision to be on the show.
I definitely hear that. I think you're right. I think when you sign up for the show, you get made aware that there are going to be a whole host of opinions. Not only that, obviously maybe the Ryan stuff with sexuality is a bit, that may be some way. But bruh, if he was holding out on sex and you were asking for sex, I don't know what you want us to say about that. We're going to have opinions, right? Because as far as we were concerned, you were crying about it. So much so that you told your girls that you were doing it every night and not getting them back. We're going to have an opinion. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to have those opinions. So, I think, if anything, I think Clara should be probably digging into some of our reviews that we have and starting to see what we were saying, because some of the stuff I was thinking, I know obviously everyone has their marriage, everyone has their relationship, they have things that we don't see, so there are some things behind the scenes which I totally get, but I personally we still don't have an answer as to why he waited so long, and we still don't. Well, we don't know if they've actually done it. Why there's so much secrecy around it? It's not even privacy, it's secrecy, because it's like your girl was crying about not having sex, so it's not like it's a private thing between me and you, and we said, okay, look, we're not gonna let them know what we are doing. Your girl already cried about it, so when you then obviously don't want to give it to her, we're asking, why is the secrecy coming? We're not sure. And then we fought that whole part 1 to obviously part 2 now, but that whole forced I think I love you. I'm gonna comment and say, I don't know if he loves you. Because he couldn't even say I love you. He said, I think I love you. Now, I don't know about the women. I don't know if women heard that, I don't know how they're gonna take it. But as for me, if you say I think I love you, I'm gonna be like, you think? After what, 6-7 months, you still think? You are still thinking about it? How are you still thinking about it? You should be there. You know what I mean?
And
Go for it.
Like here tonight, like, you should know. It shouldn't be a thing. You should know.
So yeah, I'm with you on that, Clara and Ryan. I'm with you on Clara and Ryan. Okay, cool. And then there was obviously Artieka and Virginia. I didn't talk too much, but then I guess again, Virginia and Eric kind of did a bit of I would call patching up about this whole, she didn't say about sleeping on the couch. Like, I don't know what's going on. She said she didn't necessarily say that she was not saying she was going to do that in marriage. I don't know when she was going to do it because this conversation was in marriage. So I don't know. I don't know what was your thoughts on Artieka and Virginia? August, Love, go for it.
Go ahead.
Honestly, I don't even remember them at the second part. Like the only thing I remember is Virginia choosing Rocky because Eric.
Oh yeah.
That's the only part I remember, like of what they said. Like, and after I was like, that's pretty harsh too. But I understand. It's weird because you kind of understand where she's coming from when it comes to her animals. Just because it's like her animals were like her safety. I want to say, what are those things called when kids be attached to it?
Like a security blanket.
Yeah, it's like her animals are her security blanket. So I understood why she was like, well, I would choose Rocky versus choosing Eric. But just saying that's your husband.
I don't know him.
You know what I'm saying? So that was the only thing that I can remember from the reunion. And I was trying to watch it before we got on today, but somebody told me to cut it off. Yeah. Not gonna say any names.
I couldn't take it anymore.
But yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, Virginia and Eric are just Virginia and Eric. Like I felt like a lot of part one, and I mean they weren't really in part two like that, but part one was mostly them trying to fix the way that they looked on TV.
Yeah.
That was pretty much all that they did during this reunion. I don't feel like much has changed between them. I just think that it was more so like, let us go ahead and do damage control. Everything's great. We're perfect. We've sorted through all of these issues. We're ready to move on, and you guys should be able to move on too. Watch us on Couples Cam.
Oh yeah, they are on Couples
Cam. That's what I felt like everything was.
That's good points. Yeah, they are going on Couples Cam, so maybe there'll be some more revealment there. I don't know, but money talks. You know what I'm saying? So we'll probably be together for another 1-2 years before we can see some real truth maybe in that relationship. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they'll make it. Let me not even say that. Maybe they'll make it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's hope so for their sake.
Yeah, exactly. Karen and Ryan's are making it, isn't it? So they can make it. Jack and Glenn, I know it's just good. Sorry.
Again, damage control. I think all Eric and Virginia did was to do damage control. She knows she still likes sleeping on couches. I think she knows that when he gone flying, wherever he flies, she still hangs out with her guy friends. Until, I guess we sit on here all the time, until her guy friends actually get a girlfriend or somebody who say, you know what, that chick can't stay over here no more. You know, I think she still does it. She doesn't like to be alone. I think she still has some issues that she has to deal with in herself, relationship issues, some mental issues, the issues of being alone. I think, she chose Rocky because, again, she's known Rocky longer than Eric. That's her companion. That's her safety blanket. That's her healing dog. Because she mentioned, she got Rocky when she was going through some tough patches in life and some rough things in life. So it's hard to give up Rocky because he's always been there. But for her to say that on TV, it just gives us what we already know, dog. that Rocky's here and Eric is here, and she still values the dog more than she values Eric, which there's a problem. Me and Jack, we got married. We had a dog for a minute, but when we got kids, we knew the dog and kids ain't gonna match. Guess what? Jack ain't go. The dog left. You know what I'm saying? The dog had to go. But I guess you got to be able to put it in perspective. And she has not grown up yet. She's still a child. And I think that's the biggest issue. Her mindset has not grown up yet. Sometimes she says some good things. Sometimes she does some good things. But at the end of the day, I think she's learning to love Eric. I think she's learning to love Eric. Are they there yet? Are they there at the time of the reunion? No, I don't think so. I think as time progressed, she and Eric, I think people say they won't stay together. I think they will stay together for a long time. And this is the reason being. I've been saying it all season. Eric doesn't want to get a divorce again because he doesn't want to have he don't want to be divorced for a second time. Virginia's seen what divorce does for families, and she doesn't want to be divorced again because she's seen all her parents divorced. So she's trying to end the cycle not knowing what she's doing. So at the end of the day, I think they're going to be together. They might be separated for a minute and then come back together, and separate for a minute and come back together. But as far as actually getting a divorce, man, I don't see it. I don't see them, but I think they played a lot of control. They did a lot of damage control this season on this to open it up. I'll be interested to see. Y'all mentioned couples cam. One thing I like about couples cam, the couples film them themselves. It's like their day-to-day activity, not too much production that is there. So I'm interested to see what they film and how they manage it. And see, we'll be able to see the real Eric and Virginia from those standpoints. Yeah, coming out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely agree that as well. They were definitely on a campaign of clean it up. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like that was part 1. That was also part 2. You know, and Virginia just, I think Virginia and Eric both, you know, Eric's also said that he's watched it back, parts of it back, and he sees how he needs to change in certain areas. Well, I hope he does, because boy, there were some points in there, Eric, I was looking at him like, bro, you're moving mad controlling right now. So I hope that he does look back at it and change some of his behaviors. Virginia too, you know, this whole Rocky above your husband stuff, I get it. I know why she's saying it, but for me, it's still problematic. It's like, priority is not shifting, but it also just shows, I guess, how she's dependent upon the animals as well. And I think it shows also as well the fact that she doesn't trust Eric to that level yet. You know, maybe he'll get there, but I'm saying she doesn't trust Eric to that level that she can put him above Rocky, which means Rocky is actually the most stable thing going. You know, so it goes Rocky, her friends, and then it goes to Eric. Eric's the third on the list. Okay, Eric's third on the list, and God is not even in that list. Like, he's the third on the list. So you know, I think with Virginia and Eric, I don't know. I think they're gonna have to try and talk about a few things in there before they make it. But I definitely agree with you. Both of them fearing, you know, to lose this marriage will probably end up keeping them locked into that relationship longer than they actually need to, probably. There was a third couple. Let's talk a little bit about. In fact, you know what? There wasn't much on Brianna and Vincent, to be honest, because he just spoke a little bit. He didn't really say much. I'm trying to think. Did they say anything? Brianna and Vincent, did they say anything? They didn't say nothing, did they?
I think the only thing that we saw with Brianna and Vincent was like the cute moment with him making her the s'mores. That was pretty much the only thing that I can really remember, and that was around when I told Tommy to turn it off.
That was literally what they did. I can't remember anything else.
Yeah, I mean, what else he did, not really together, but, you know, Vincent was the one who kind of, when all the guys were talking, kind of stepped up and like, you know what, he was able to identify each one of the guys and help Jacob out. So, you know what, Jacob is funny, or we have a tight text chain, you know, with the guys. The s'more thing was funny because Jacob was like, that was one of the first times Vincent ever ate a s'more. You know what I'm saying? And so he ran upstairs before everybody else to do it. You know, I think Vincent had, as we watched the reunion and some of the clips they showed, or him at the reunion, you can tell he has grown a lot. That he has grown and matured a little bit more. He's always been that guy. If you ever look at him, even with the situation with Chris and Eric, Vincent was the one who grabbed Chris. You know, Eric, and I looked at Vincent in the way that he doesn't like confrontation, but he's there to be in the middle, to be the gap, to bridge everyone up, because he's also said he's still the one that still talks to Chris. You know, I think I don't know if you picked that up too. So he has conversation with him on throughout everybody else. So I mean, Brianna and Vincent, I mean, I think everybody likes them, and I think they're still going to make it. But they still got some things they got to work on. I think Dr. Pepper said that was one of their greatest success stories out of the whole season was Vincent and Brianna. So.
Do you agree that? Are they one of the greatest success stories, Brie and Vincent?
Nah.
Of this season?
Yeah, this season. I don't think that's the best, the greatest match. I'd still give it to what's the
money?
No. The best match
one.
that I've seen them do was they from New Orleans.
Amelia
and Bennett. That's the best match to me.
Yeah, they were. I will agree that.
Yeah, because they're quirkiness. I do like Amelia and Bennett. I think she said that because of all the chaos that went on throughout this season. That you saw some kind of growth in Bree. You saw some kind of growth and Vincent, and they kind of matched because they kind of the way that I think Dr. Pepper approached it was like, you know, she had to puncture some things, his insecurity and different things with him to make him grow, and she had to bring down some of her bossiness, and they was able to mix with each other and make it work. You know, and that's one of the things that she said she really enjoyed about them. They they could see how they would work, but he had to puncture his pride. That's what she was saying, to make it work. And we know Vincent was a very proudful person, very proudful person, to the point that a lot of the things that Brianna did for him couldn't work because of his anxiety and him being so proud on TV. You know, if anybody should complain about how we viewed him on TV, it should be Vincent, not Clara.
I'm with you on that. Oh, good points. All right, let's move to the heavy part. So we've got two heavy hitters. This was in part 2. We had Jacob and Haley, and we had also Chris and Paige. We'll leave Chris and Paige to the last part, I'm sure. But Jacob and Haley, I mean, in part 2, Jacob and Haley, there was obviously quite a bit of disagreements that they were having. And I spoke of this on another live, and I said, I just felt like Kevin was doing too much towards Jacob. Way too much. Like, he was personally invested in trying to take down Jacob. I don't know what he saw, but he felt like he had the cojones, the strength, the courage to take out Jacob. And I was wondering why. I don't know if you guys noticed that as well. Go for it, Jack. Okay.
Yeah, he did, man. He tried to take down Jacob. He tried to put everything on Jacob. And I'm not saying Jacob is 100% innocent in this situation. Did Jacob have some issues, some hang-ups? Yes. I think the biggest thing that me and Jack talked about was, when we discussed it, was that Kevin was like, her having sex with you is trying. No, that's not. That's not. It's not. It's because she said, I tried physically, I tried emotionally, I tried every which way I could to connect with him. You tried in 3 days. Think about it. You had sex with him in the first 2 days. But again, it wasn't even sober sex. It was drunk sex. We don't even know how drunk you were, right? So it came across your mind. So you said, oh, I'm trying to connect with him. Is it really a connection? You know, is that really trying when you because you try to give him your body? Maybe he doesn't want that. You know, you gave him his body, but you never gave him any communication after that. You never, you sexed him, which is crazy, right? You sexed him and slept with him, but you can't even hold his hand. You slept with him and you sexed him, and you don't even want to hug him anymore. You sexed him and slept him, and you don't even want to lay in the bed with him and let him kiss you on the cheek. So how much of that are you trying if you tried everything? So you can't say I tried everything if you're not willing to try even the simplest things of letting a guy kiss you on the cheek, or you just laying in the bed with him. They came and slept in separate rooms when they came back from Vegas. That's not trying. If you try, to me, trying is you forgive him. And this is why I was mad at Kevin Frazier. Kevin never brought none of those up to her. Kevin never asked her, why you put him in a separate room? Why didn't you try to hold his hand? Why didn't you try to kiss him on the cheek? Why did you try to do none of this stuff? But yet he was on Jacob. Oh, she tried. But don't you think he was a little condescending? Don't you think he was a little rough? He didn't really go at Haley like he went at Jacob. And I don't know if that's because Jacob was a man and he put all the responsibility on the man. But again, we married each other. So there's equally responsibility there. And one thing they didn't even, even with the bracelet situation, and didn't even bring up that. But again, to me, I think Kevin did a little too much with him. And he didn't do enough with her because it was both of their faults that the relationship did not work. It was on both of them. It wasn't just Jacob. Is he quirky? Yes. Is he set in his ways? Yes. But she's set in her ways too. How petty it is that you go to the batting cage hours early just so you can beat him. That's to me, that's petty. You're so competitive in meaningless things. You're more competitive in hitting the ball than you are your marriage. You're more competitive in winning at a game than you are your marriage. To me, I'm like, I'm done with Haley.
Good points about Kevin. Artieka, tell me what's up.
One of the things that bothered me, somebody just mentioned it in the comments, was that when they sat down, Kevin was like, do you want to tell Haley how nice she looks? No, I don't like her. Why should I have to tell somebody that I don't like that they look nice? Like, it doesn't matter. I don't like her. She doesn't like me. Let's move on. But another thing that really, let me know that, granted, I saw through Haley and her mean girl at the whole season. I was hoping for the best, but Haley was absolutely a mean girl. But at one moment, Haley looked over at Jake and she said, This experiment didn't work for the two of us, and I wish you the best in whatever happens after this, because this didn't work. And he started out by saying, I absolutely agree with you totally. And she rolled her eyes at that. How do you roll your eyes at somebody that is fully agreeing with everything that you said? She did not like him. She could not be straight up enough with him to say, I don't like you. And she tried to make it seem like he was the bad guy. Yes, Jacob could have done a lot of things differently. In that same vein, Haley should have done a lot of things differently. Like, it's a give and a take with both of them. And I think that people look at things like you're either team Haley or team Jacob and not team y'all shouldn't have been together. And that's exactly what we all are. We're just pointing out more faults in one person than the other person. They were a terrible match. She tried to make a lot of the things in their relationship be his problem, but she was the one that had the problem with him. And since she had the problem with him, she wanted him to change. He obliged. She couldn't get around it. Her fault. At that point, he did everything that he could do. Everything that his spouse asked of him, he attempted to do. He didn't ask her to change any parts of herself because he was comfortable with the person that he had married. She had the issues, and she just didn't want to do anything about them. So, I mean, at that point, whatever. Like, happy y'all aren't together. I never want to see people not be together. But in this regard, yeah, happy you're not together.
Definitely hearing you on that.
Your turn. This is Haley's biggest fan over here.
Okay, disclaimer. Everybody's going to hate me for what I said. Well, not hate me, but they are going to completely disagree with what I'm saying. But the first thing, I do agree with everybody on Haley. Haley was trash this season towards Jacob. Now, my point of view is from a point of view of what I would have done. Like, I've never been put in a situation where the person that I was pursuing thought I was ugly. You know what I'm saying? Because I would just cut it off. If somebody, I felt like I was out of somebody's league or something like that, I just cut it off and, you know, I'll try a different way. We'd be friends or whatever, you know, but for their situation, I hate that they can't be cordial with each other, you know, because when Kevin asked, did he want to say, hey, you know, you look nice, and he just like, no, like, man, you can tell a girl she look nice. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's the difference between me and Artieka. You know, I like, if somebody looks nice, they could be my worst enemy. You look nice, and I'm gonna keep pushing.
I'm like, you're dead.
Right. She's terrible. I hate it when she says that, but she's awful. But I love her. I just would have taken a different approach to it. I don't feel like I totally agree with everybody when they talk about Haley. Do not take that out of context for me. But when it comes to Jacob and his attempts, I feel like he was. I was reading somebody's comment. I saw my name. But when Jacob comes like in his situation, he realizes, hey, we're having this conversation. He starts an argument with this girl about dating somebody else. Like, play it cool. You know what I'm saying? Okay, if she's with somebody else, we'll see. It'll come out. But right now, I'm going to find my happy, my joy. Not focusing on her, but for me. You know, like, if she's not with the things that I want to get with, or if she's not like the 80s thing, right? She's not with the 80s thing. I still like my 80s thing. I'll invite her to something that I do. Hey, let's go watch Back to the Future. You've never seen the movie. Let's go watch it. If you don't want to watch it, that's up to her. But those are the things that I would have liked to see more from Jacob, to say that, hey, Jacob did this, Jacob did that, Jacob did this. That's the thing that I was looking for from Jacob. Not because every time, like, I can't talk about the things that we didn't see on the show. Like, people may say, well, this happened off screen, off camera and stuff like that. I can't talk about that. But it's like, when we see him, he's responding to something she said in some type of argumentative way. Like I don't want to deal with a person that's always arguing with me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like the story that she told you about last week when she was like going to work and she's coming home like a different person and stuff like that. It's like we would argue so much. I was like, man, this ain't gonna work, you know? So that's the things that I'm like, okay, Jacob, don't always argue with this woman. Like find some happiness and bite down on that, you know? But I still agree. Jacob was put in a tough predicament, you know, just because that's what he has to do. You know what I'm saying? He was put in a tough predicament because she didn't like him, and he knew it. But you know what can you say, man? But I just would have liked to see more of Jacob trying to. I don't want to say pursue her, but like how she tried to change him. I would like him to see, like make some things change in front of her. You know what I'm saying? Like ask her to do this, ask her to do that. You know what I'm saying? But those are the things we didn't get to see from Jacob. So. That's just my piece. I know everybody's just like, Tommy, you need to be quiet. Right? Everybody is probably in disagreement with me, but that's just the thing that I would have liked to see.
you know, I think that was a question that got everybody messed up too. Was Jacob, how come you didn't romance her some more? Or why you didn't do this? Why didn't you do extra for her?
You did.
Kevin asked him that, like, why didn't you try to romance or pursue it even more? But we as guys, and you know, Tommy, you probably gonna just the same thing, Kojo. If you're in a relationship, you constantly getting shut down. You ain't gonna do extra. You're not gonna do extra at every side. You get rejected, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop.
I'm gonna stop, and I think that's the
I'm gonna leave the situation. But I'm saying if I'm in a situation that I can't leave, like a situation like his, I'm going to have fun. Like I'm not going to argue with you because I know what my answer is. So I'm going to go out here and have a blast. I don't care if you do or if you don't. I've understood myself well enough to what fun is. So at this point, it's like, okay, whatever you want to do, I'm not going to argue with you about anything. Hey, this is what I'm about to do. If you want to come on. If not, too bad. This is what I'm about to go do, and leave it at that because I have nothing. At that point, I'm not physically pursuing you, but I would love the companionship.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest thing. Like, hey, man, you don't have to be enemies. Because everybody that I'm friends with, I don't like. You know, all my female friends, I think they're beautiful, but it's like I'm not trying to get with them. You see what I'm saying? So because I'm not trying to get with them like that, it's like I still can go out and have fun. Like to this day, I like to go to the movies. My wife don't want to go to the movies. I'll go to the movies by myself and then come home and tell her about it.
Right.
You know, and that's a conversation to have. Like, I just felt like their experience could have been a lot better if Jacob would have had a lot more fun with it. You know?
Well, I guess also I look at the beginning of their relationship, like we get to the honeymoon and coming home from the honeymoon. He asked her a question. Now, no matter how offended you are at a question that somebody asked you, and the question was about her having a boyfriend back at home, which is what Glenn was talking about, Clara trying to clean up. I've never gotten so upset with a person from asking me a question that I don't want to sit beside them anymore. And that was the beginning of the downfall. Like, you can't communicate to me that you're upset with me and how I had you messed up, that you just need to move away from me and now you shutting down talking to me altogether. Yeah. Like, how am I supposed to be married to that? I can't have a relationship with a brick wall. And that's exactly what Jake was dealing with. He was dealing with Haley, the brick wall.
But you know, I think with that too, I think I think when we look at the couples that are trying to be that we consider like the best couples on the show, a lot of those been friends first. They learn how to have a friendship or learn how to have conversation. Go back to Amani and Woody. They learned how to have fun. Look at they had fun with each other. Even Brianna and Vincent from this season had fun with each other. You mentioned earlier Amelia and Bennett. They had fun from the day one, from their wedding. They was, again, you never really saw Haley and Jacob have fun. Whereas Tommy was mentioning, he just let her hair down and just be Haley, or let and Jacob just be Jacob and have fun. And it's funny how the things that she said Jacob does is quirky and she didn't like. And I followed him on Instagram, but you see her slipping, sliding in the backyard playing beer pong. Like, that's stuff that Jacob would do. You know what I'm saying? So again, but you never gave him an opportunity to do those things, and he never felt like he wanted to do those things because you already shot him down. And like I said, he was hurt. I think he was hurt from that, from not being downstairs with everybody else. He couldn't recover. And then when he called her a liar and said, you got a boyfriend back home, she got hurt by that, and she couldn't recover. And then she was like, you know what? I already gave you some loving, and I already gave you some sex, and you gonna call me a liar? I'm done with you.
I was curious, where did that come from, man? Like the boyfriend from wherever. Where did that come from?
Allegedly, at their bachelorette party or before they got to Vegas or whatever, I'm gonna say allegedly, Clara saw Haley hanging out with this guy or hugged up with this guy, and then it went back. Somehow Clara told Jacob. It came back to Jacob, but Clara never said it was a boyfriend. Said it was some guy that Haley was talking to, and they thought, and Jacob interpreted it as being a boyfriend back home.
Oh,
so that's one of the stories that's there.
see, I never even would have brought that up because like anything prior to us saying I do doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And that's the thing.
It doesn't 6 days ago. If it was 6 days ago or a week ago,
if it was 6 days ago or 2 hours ago, it doesn't matter until we say I do.
It would make a difference to me. Damn right. You ain't ready.
I mean, like if she's a stranger, if she's a stranger, and I don't know what she's doing, you know, before this, because I don't know who she is.
I agree.
I think that it doesn't matter what you did prior to them saying that you're matched. Once they say that you're matched with someone, I feel like at that point, it's like, even though you don't know who I am, it's kind of cheating. So it's a fuzzy gray area because you know that I'm out here. You know that you're going to marry me. And it's like, act like you're trying to be married to someone else.
That was why the stripper and Vince came up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if it was me and like my bachelor party was completely different, but I don't know this person. I'm like it's like, man, I'm finna kick it.
Hey,
straight up, I'm about to kick it.
This was ready to be more than kicking if she would have said yes. This was ready to go, dog.
He was gonna risk it all. Risk it all.
He was ready to risk it.
But that's all I'm saying, man. It's like anything that happened prior to me meeting this person, I would not have counted towards cheating, towards anything. Now, anything after that, like we have 8 weeks. I would have looked at it as we have 8 weeks to figure out if we want to get married or stay married. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing I'm looking at is, okay, let's try to focus on being friends. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the best that we can out of this relationship. Like from the jump, it makes it hard for both people. Like she already don't like you, and you over here like insecure, basically, about yourself. Like, man, be confident in yourself and know that she's missing out. I think Jacob's a good guy, man. That's kind of cool. His house is pretty cool, you know, for sure. And then all that other stuff too. So I'm like, wow. I don't know.
I hear that.
Funny dude.
I mean, obviously, I'm still gonna say this. if I'm getting married to you, there's no way you're gonna be doing anything in the streets a week before, whatever. I think Artieka's point is great. The moment you knew you were gonna get matched, at that point, there should be no more sexing. There should be none of that thing. I want dedicated focus to what you're about to get into. Because personally, I wouldn't be on the show anyway. But I'm just saying, if that's the case, because you're about to enter into commitment. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you don't be entering into commitment half jacked. Do you know what I'm saying? Like here, sleeping around, trying to get your last little shots in before anybody finds out. You are not ready if you do that. You honestly aren't ready to do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like even in the real world, if you were dating, if someone told me, before I met my girl, bro, I was sleeping with this girl, I'll be like, you are not ready. Okay, you know why you're not ready? Because you haven't prepared yourself mentally. You haven't even prepared even your body to go into this situation, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you doing that, in most cases, man them know how they be. I'm not saying there's no exceptions to the rule. I'm sure there are. But man them know when you be doing those things in the streets and then trying to get into a relationship a few days after, bro, it's gonna be difficult because your mind is not really there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but again, that's my fault. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough, man. It's tough because we're not in that position, you know, and then especially me, I couldn't do it because obviously I pretty much told y'all, hey man, I'm single until I get to meet this person. I don't know who this person is, you know, but once it's like for me, I'll cut it on, and then immediately I can cut it off. But I'm not trying. Like by the time that I find out that I'm getting married, I would, you know, I wouldn't have sex with anybody, but you know, I'll still go out here. But I would be Vincent, you know, talking to the stripper, you know, just messing around and stuff like that. But
you're ridiculous.
Because I am ridiculous. But I know. But it's wild, man. It's a crazy situation. Personally, I never would have brought that up because I would have looked at it as a previous thing, no matter if it was 2 hours before, because I didn't know this person. I knew that I was going to marry a person, but I just didn't know this person.
Even if it was an ex.
Even yeah.
God damn, Tommy. God
Yeah.
damn.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Tommy, what you think? Tommy,
But, you know, it's like Katie though. Katie was like that. I don't know if y'all remember.
this is what I'm gonna say, bro. Go on, Jack.
Yeah, like from that season, Katie was like that because remember she almost didn't get married because the ex came back.
Yeah.
The ex found out that she was gonna be on the show. He's like, hold on for a minute, what? let me go ahead. Let me go shoot my shot one more time. Now I don't know why she ended up with Derek, but they didn't last anyway too much further after. You know, they said yes on the decision day. Maybe she went back to the ex, but I kind of agree with Artieka and man. I do, man. Once you say, you know what, I went on the show to get married, and once they say, you know what, we found you a match, I agree with the people in the chat. It's like I'm engaged. You know, we can hang out and chill. I mean, not chill. I'm gonna try to stay away from you because I don't even want to be caught up. Again, we're in a small city, right? You don't know who you're getting matched to. So what if you getting this is just how my mind thinks. What if I'm getting matched to somebody that knows her? And she come out and say, yo, we kicked it. Like, you got married 2 weeks ago, so me and him just kicked it like 3 nights ago. You know what I'm saying? Or they girls and they at the wedding. You know, how many times we heard it, like, ooh. If you listen to Amani and Woody, they met each other at a bar before they even knew they was matched. Like, weeks earlier, she was working at the bar, she gave them a drink. You know, they said it out of their own mouth. Or who else? Amelia and Bennett met each other at a party. Yeah,
that's true.
And then they ended up getting matched. But you know, so again, in that circle, what if one of the girls, let's use Chris and Nancy, right? And that's the extreme situation. Let's say Chris had tried to hit on Nancy beforehand, or Nancy was a trophy wife and a looker, and then he messed with Div come up Paige, and Nancy like, dang, I just messed with that dude like 3 weeks ago. It would have been, you know, I guess just how my mind thinks. I wouldn't. Once they told me I had a match, I'm like, Coach, I'm getting my house in order. I'm trying to make sure there's no loose ends. there's no ties.
I'm just saying, I ain't gonna be like going out here and having sex with everybody, but I ain't finna just be like, no, I'm getting married. I'm just close my eyes. No, I'm finna be out here talking. I would be my normal self until I have a person to say, hey, this is my wife. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be trying to pursue a new relationship because I'm seeing what this married at first sight thing would do, but I still will be out here talking to people and networking with people and stuff like that. So that's the big thing for me.
The funny thing is that Tommy's saying all this, he don't go nowhere and he don't do anything. Even before me.
He just blowing the smoke again.
I know Tommy since we were 18 years old. He ain't going nowhere and he ain't doing anything. He's just talking.
When we met, I was
Down.
No, I was in college, man. Anyway,
in the streets, were you?
Anyway, I just personally feel like Jacob should have focused more on him having fun.
Fair enough.
With the situation than being so, towards her. Like asking a person if you think they're attractive, you know the answer to that. There's no need to ask this person if she likes you just because you know she doesn't think you're attractive. But you think you're attractive. Like, that's the thing. It's like you think you are a very attractive person. So it doesn't matter what other people think. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think I'm attractive. I like the things that I like to do. So this is what I'm going to focus on, my happiness. Because at the end of the day, if you don't make yourself happy, you can't make anybody else happy.
True.
So you're saying that's all I got, man.
So you're saying that you'd have tried to just, do constructive stuff with Haley. Is that what you're saying?
I would have did me.
Does that include
like, basically, once I figured out that this wasn't going anywhere and they trying to get me to do X, Y, and Z with her and we still not able to do it, I bet I'm finna go enjoy myself. You can come along if you want to. But I'm gonna be here the next, and then we'll be cool afterwards. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have any hard feelings, but I feel like Jacob is holding something against her, whereas I don't feel like he should, because I feel like he's gained the most out of everything. You know what I'm saying? As far as, because I'm pretty sure everybody's in his DMs. When I said anything about Jacob, I was criticized. My wife, cousins, people in the chat, family members in the chat, like, I was like criticized because I said Jacob should have enjoyed himself more than putting himself through that.
I give you a character. Jacob was like, what's the girl? Christina from last season?
Yeah, Christina.
Remember how Christina would leave Henry at home and just live her best life?
Right.
So yeah,
disappear for a day.
Yeah. She just leave, go for 2 days, whatever case may be, and just live her best life until she was walking at the park for 2 days. I mean, whatever case may be, but she would just go have fun. I feel you on that, Tommy. After the point you knew it was over, why be at the house and be miserable, right?
Right.
I got what you're saying.
Right, and another thing too. I'm sorry, guys. I'm spending so much time on this, but
I don't mind.
Jacob did, like, this is one thing that bothered me to my core, is that Jacob would have a conversation and an argument all by himself.
Yeah, bro.
Assuming what she's gonna say. And I'm like, man, nothing beats a failure but a try. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be like, hey, this is gonna be the best. Like, I've literally have sat in the car and ran through a conversation that me and Artieka was gonna, an argument now. I knew it was coming. I was setting myself up for it, working through it in my head and everything. And then next thing you know, I had to go in the house and say something about it, and it went completely the other way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't make that assumption about what people are gonna say until you say it. You know, until it's there. Like, I literally had the whole conversation down. She's gonna say this, and I'm gonna rebut it with this. She's gonna say that, I'm gonna rebut it with that, and she messed me completely up. I tell y'all now, man, never argue with Artieka, man. She's good. She's good.
Hey, I remember she said she didn't want to make you get fired and get a hug later, you know?
Right.
Yeah, you know she good when she gets somebody fired and they're hugging you at the end of it.
Right. But yeah, that was one of the things, man. It's like he went through, he's having these conversations by himself. And then he'd get mad at the conversation he just had with himself and never talk to her about it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, though. He had failure already in his head. He had failure in his head instead of trying to at least try. And I guess, again, we analyze these people, and you got to go really deep into them. Sometimes you have failure in your head, as you mentioned, or you play the conversation out in your mind, and it doesn't go that way that you want it to go. And then you don't know what to do because you already planned for it to go this way, and now you're stuck. I just think the rejection was the key for him. He never been rejected. Again, we talked about it. If you go back to the when they show the videos or introduce the characters, whatever, I use the word characters, introduce the people. He was like, this is his last shot.
Yeah.
This was his last last go at it. I got to go. I'm 39 years old. I need to get this done. And I think when it didn't go in his head, to your point, he already had in his head, I want the marriage to be like this. I want her to be like this. She's going to be wooed at this bracelet that I give her. She's going to fall in love with me when I get the bracelet. She's going to do this, that, and the other. And when things didn't go the way that he pictured it in his head, he couldn't adjust. Right.
He got punched in the mouth. What Mike Tyson say, everybody got a plan till they get punched in the mouth?
Yeah, till they get hit.
Yeah. He got hit, man. Couldn't recover from it, man. So
beat up. It is what it is.
Oh, the bracelet. So I just read somebody said something about the bracelet. I feel I'm with Jacob on the bracelet. Like, nah, that was 800.
Like ATL.
That was 800, man. You need to bring that back, man.
If you ain't gonna appreciate it, I can get a receipt.
Right. Now, come on and bring that back, man.
Well, I don't know. And again, and this is where I've always laughed at people because he never told her to give it back so he can give it back. He said, just have it in the vicinity. Right. Just have it in the house. Have it in the place. Which she is wrong for that. And we all guys on here right now. Artieka gone. Look. I don't care if you don't like it. Mm-hmm. At least wear it once in a while. Let me see it on the dresser laid out. Let me see where it's at. And that's all he wanted to do. He just wanted to see it and you can appreciate it. It almost made you think that she didn't even say thank you when they got together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, she didn't know what it was.
She probably didn't.
She didn't know it was.
It's not a bracelet.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bracelet. Yeah, she didn't. Yes, right. She didn't know what it was. So
she didn't open it because if you look at a necklace versus a bracelet, like even if it's a delicate bracelet that has like a very thin chain to it, if you pick it up, you still know that it's a bracelet and not a necklace.
Hey, what it is? She never shopped at those type of stores where she spent $800 on a bracelet. She don't know how it comes.
I wouldn't have spent $800 on a bracelet, and I don't know this person. You gotta run me my money back. Like, tell me that you don't like it, and we can go get you something.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't about how much it was. It was about what it was like. It's a gift for my wife. Mm-hmm. So if you don't like it, tell me. That's cool. I understand that you don't like it. I thought you would. I didn't know who you were. Like, I would never buy her jewelry or anything like that because I don't know what she would like. So I would rather be like, okay, what do you want? Or here's a gift card.
Yeah, like even down to my engagement ring, I picked it out. It wasn't an option for him to do it for me.
Yeah.
Because I sold jewelry for like 10 years. I know what I like. I know what I want. And 9 times out of 10, I could tell you to buy something and you're still not going to get what I want unless you follow a SKU number at a particular store. So if I just describe a ring, you can come back with 17 different things that are not exactly what I asked for. But if I pick it out, then we're done.
If she picked it out and she don't like it, it's off you. It's off of me. You know what I'm saying?
So it was okay that he recorded back.
Oh, that was perfect. I was like, thank God he got his money back because that would have been $800 he could have used on something 80s, or bought a new computer thing, or he could have used that. It ain't like it was $100.
That's
it's $800. You know what I'm saying? $800.
That's somebody's rent.
Someone's rent.
Somebody's car payment.
Exactly. At least half of it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Okay, so I'm gonna be a little bit cynical at this moment. So, the Haley defense train on the show was 2 particular I'm just gonna have to be brutal about this. There were 2 black men that defended Haley all out on that reunion part, but it was the white woman that defended Jacob. Is there anything in that, or is it just the way the cookie crumbled? I'm just gonna have to throw that question out to you guys.
Who's the other black guy?
Oh, Pascal.
Oh,
he was tearing Jacob too as well.
Like I don't think. I think it's just. Well, I look at it from my part, you know what I'm saying? Because I was agreeing with Pastor Cal on some things, but I still think Haley could have did 10 times better. You know what I'm saying? Like, Haley was trash to Jacob, making Jacob's job as far as remembering his happy. You know, she made that 10 times harder for him to get her. And it's like I don't understand where Kevin came from, because I think it was unfair how he didn't like talk about Haley stuff. I don't think having sex with a person is a try. I mean, like, it's something. I'm not gonna say you just have sex with a person and it's nothing, but I don't look at it as anything, but I guess you call a spade, man.
What are you saying, Glenn?
Yo, I would say this, man. I think for this, what it's crazy is Pastor Cal saw some good things in her, But again, nothing she did was good.
Right.
Nothing she did was good. So I understand when he was like, "Oh, Haley, no, dog." What were you looking at? Unless he saw something that we didn't see, or unless she was fooling him in the counseling sessions that they had off camera, she never really tried, and she never really got in. Dr. Viv read through her, Dr. Pepper read through her. I mean, Dr. Viviana was like, she told her at the beginning, like, "Yo, you keep following the same pattern. You wasn't ready for this. You keep doing the same things. You shoot this guy down at every turn or every corner. You're shooting him down." So Pastor Cal, I don't know what he was looking at. Supporting a woman, whatever case may be. I think he was just trying to support her. I think they all can agree that this was trash, but they all agreed that Chris and Paige was a train wreck. They didn't agree because I think on paper they thought Haley and Jacob would match, and this is my problem with the show. Stop trying to make opposite attract.
Yeah, that don't
Stop
always
trying to
work.
make opposites attract. Again, there was nothing on paper that I know. There is a big 10-year gap. First of all, that to me right there is a red flag. That's a generation. It's a generational gap right there. That they're 10 years apart. He likes the 80s stuff. She was born in the 90s. She never even see the 80s movie. She's a traveler. He's a homebody. You thinking this woman could pull him out? Well, you already saw that he was already setting his ways and established. So I think that's where Pastor Cal was like, I think the way that he fought for them or talked about Haley was like that was his decision.
I get what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Like that was his decision to put those two together because he didn't agree. If you go back to
with the Chris and Paige thing, he tried to throw himself away from it. He
threw himself away. He didn't agree with that. So to me, it seemed as Pastor Cal was like, I thought this was going to work. That he was the one to say put these two together. And then when it didn't work, he had to find a kind of save face. With Kevin, I don't know. Kevin just, like I said earlier, Kevin just disappointed me because he didn't ask her the hard questions. If you ask him why he didn't try to romance her, you should ask her why she didn't try to romance him. Mm-hmm. To me, is be impartial, be a good journalist. Mm-hmm. Go both ways.
No, I'm with you on that, man. I couldn't understand Kevin's part at all. Like he was doing good asking Jacob the questions, but it was like half. Yeah. Like you did half the job, by saying like, because we all agree that Haley, like you sitting here watching this, like, Haley, what did you do? You know what I'm saying? It's like we have so many questions for Haley, but it's Jacob was
talking a good game. She talked a good game. She came on talking a good game, and she even tried to. It's almost like she tried to manipulate Jacob. Like this is what I tried to do. Try to get him to say, "Oh yeah, you did do this." She tried to manipulate him like he was like a bumbling fool. And he read through the line. You didn't try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if this is my thing. To me, I think Coach do it all the time. And visualization means a lot to me. When I see your body language and how you act, every time they was together, she's on one end of the couch.
Yeah.
He's on another end.
Yeah.
That's not trying to me. If you was trying, you'll get closer to him. You have a conversation with him. And for that man to come out and say, you know what, we were totally different, but when they said production time or camera to come, you hopped in there like everything was good. I don't know if y'all caught that or not when he said that.
Yeah, I saw that. It's hard for me to, like, the stuff that they do outside of the camera, because I purposely don't follow them, and I purposely not try to hear things about them outside of what was on the show, because of how much they say is different. Like, Haley, he said Haley did that. Chris said Paige did that, which I would have showed. Like, me personally, I'm going to be who I am on and off camera. Like, if I don't fool with you off camera, I'm not going to fool with you on camera. They're not going to get a lot from me, on camera. If I don't fool with you. But if I do, I'm going to fool with you on camera and off camera. And so that's what makes it hard for me to like, I don't know how to take that information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that's because they can't film 24/7 because of production rules and union and all that other stuff. So they need those days off. But yeah, I think a lot of people, that's why I think the show is changing, because a lot of people have hit to the game now. Let me do this off camera.
Yeah.
Right.
And present myself one way. And then we on camera, we can present another way, and we can, I'll be interested to see how Houston plays out, how many people hit to that game. Because we've seen in the last couple episodes, last couple seasons, that a lot of couples do things off camera, and it makes it boring for TV for us. You know, look at all the stuff that Ryan and Clara said they did off camera, and we get a perception of this way. And we don't get to see all the other stuff that they did to make their relationship tight enough. Because if you watch the season, you didn't think Clara and Ryan should stay together because you didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Right.
What did you see to stick them together, to make them be so tight as they were?
Nothing.
Or
Are they tight?
I think they tight,
I think they are. I think they are.
She done drunk that Kool-Aid, man.
Yeah.
That's why. But that's what we saw, though. So that hasn't changed our perception because what we
Something
saw was
happened to make her drink the Kool-Aid.
Something happened to make her drink the Kool-Aid. So it's like
she's a people pleaser.
Again, but yeah, we know she's a people pleaser because she wants somebody to love her. So now, she ain't going nowhere, dog. He gave her everything she wanted: a home, a place for the dog to chill out, and a stable life. She didn't have that. So
yeah, she came up with him.
She came up because you think about it. All she talked about was all her terrible relationships, bad relationship, bad first dates. So the first guy that came by that showed us some interest that was real good and real nice to her, she is attached. She's not going anywhere.
That's the
because she's just attached to him. And I'm not. Again, even with the kids later on, I don't think she'd go anywhere. But by the time they have kids, she's probably she's fully in.
These kids gonna be going to church. She's gonna be going to church.
She's gonna be working in ministry.
Right.
Running the nursery.
For a guy who wasn't sexing her down, he really got her controlled. Think about it. He told her to stop talking so much. She stopped talking so much. He told her to mind your business.
She talking again.
Yeah. When he leaves, she talk, but she around her. So, hey, Clara, I think she's a pretty smart, intelligent girl, but I think she wanted a man so much that she's willing to do anything to keep Ryan.
Yeah.
And that's my thing, right? So I think the reason why it's going to stick so close is Clara's willing to do anything. And if you look at the history of her dating and even his dating, you've been in a relationship where you were in a relationship 1 or 2 years and you had sex 3 times in the year. That tells me you don't know how to assert yourself. Say, hey, this is not working for me. I need to leave, or this needs to change. And the same thing happened on this season. You couldn't have the conversation with him about the sex issue, and then you started blurting it out to the girls. So there's nothing going to change. Her behavior is her behavior. She's going to be exactly the same. So that marriage will go on for a long time because she won't say nothing. Mm-hmm. So long as he gives her a little bit of love, she's good. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're willing to take "I think I love you" as something constructive, my friend, go on.
But I still think that comes from her not understanding what love is, because she even her saying that love was what did she say? It's sexual or it's not sexual? Or
yeah,
sex is what tells you that you love. Like, no, that's like sex is the bonus when it comes to in marriage, man. Like, because at some point something's gonna stop working. At one point you may not be able to have children. At a stopping point, a woman is not able to bear children. You know what I'm saying? At some point you may have a ED. I pray that nobody ever, they figure out a way for people to stop having it. But it happens. So it's like sex can't be the "I love you."
Yeah.
I love you has to be "I love you." And sex has to be that bonus. So I think that comes from her not understanding that basic principle, and it goes from there. So I think it's going to be interesting to see them last. I wish they were doing a couples cam, because that's something to actually pay attention to, is her growth in love, because Ryan's not going to treat her bad. Ryan's just going to treat her the way that he expects her to act.
Yeah, I agree.
If he says jump, he's like Prince Hakeem. If he says jump, he wants her to say how high.
Yeah.
If he says bark like a dog, he wants her to start barking like a dog. Big Dog. That movie is funny if y'all have not seen it. Coming to America.
Yeah, but also on that too, Tommy. To your point, the couples cam thing with Ryan, he likes to control the narrative.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, when you do reality TV, they control the narrative.
Yep.
And so he likes to control the narrative himself. That's why he won't do anything else Married at First Sight, because he can't control the narrative. With Clara, he can control the narrative at home. He can control the narrative at work. Instagram, he can control the narrative, make everything look like it's hunky dory. They're going to baseball game. They're doing all this stuff again. But yeah, it's not what it is. He likes to control the narrative, and he likes to control all the situations, and that's what it is. And so when he can't control it, he has issues, and she likes to be controlled. She's a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. She's a people pleaser. People like her, and to be involved with her. That's why you can hit him off every night. He don't do anything to you because you don't want to manage you.
And that's so okay. So camera's not watching, right? So let's say cameras are there, but you guys want to make sure you're off camera. What I don't get why he didn't hit it during that process. It doesn't make sense for me because the camera's not going to see that part. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, it got to a point. Your girl is now coming to cuss you behind your back to us. You know what I'm saying? So you've allowed more. It's even done you more damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so this whole trying to control everything and present it so neutral with Ryan. I think he did a live the other day, and I said, "Damn, what was his personality that was on the show? Like, why did we never get that personality on the show? Like, I don't know if they give him a bad edit or what, or whether you're just controlling it. But I just thought to myself, Ryan, bro, like, yes, you may not get the edit that you require, right? But it's the same thing with Karen and Miles. What you said is what you said, and what you did is what you did, right? Your girl told us this was what's not happening, so." You couldn't tell your girl you loved her. And someone picked up in the chat as well. They said Ryan easily said we love you. I think was it to
Paige.
To Paige, right? But struggled to say I love you to his girl. Now let me tell you where that comes from. That is emotional deficiency. When you struggle in emotional intimacy, that is where that comes from. If you can't say I love you to your partner, but you can say it to somebody else easily, that oftentimes is a fear of intimacy with a person who you're in a romantic relationship with, because you are going to be your most vulnerable with that particular person. So they've got problems. And I'm not talking about the problems that we're talking about, like a little leak. We're talking about the fact that the roof is about to cave in. She's got issues with sex and how she looks at emotions and how she deals with love. He's got issues with emotional intimacy. And that's what we're seeing. So you can do all the control stuff, but they need therapy. And that's what the experts should be talking about, not celebrating them and getting excited about the fact they're married. Do you know what I'm saying? Right? Mm-hmm. Getting excited about it. I was not excited about it at all, to be honest.
Yeah, they do need therapy. I agree with that. And you probably look at it too. Paige is a sister. I come back to that. I do. I know he may be, ambiguous. He may really love Clara, but it's easy to say I love you to another person because a sister, because that's what we do.
Yeah, that's true.
But then also, I'm with you on that, Glenn. But the other thing too, his "we love you" to Paige is not an endearing "we love you." It's like ending a sentence, or ending a letter saying "love." Ryan. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing behind that. Like they like, hey, we feel for you.
Yeah.
But what sounds better? We feel for you or we love you. So I think that I look like "we love you" to Paige was just an empty. I don't want to call it empty because it probably was we have a love for you, but it wasn't how I love my wife or how I love my child. So yeah.
I hear that.
I don't know how we got there. I'm sorry, man.
No, it was good. I liked it, man. That was good, man. That was some deep chat like that. Last couple, Chris and Paige. Chris and Paige. I don't know. Oh man, we've had them all season long, and we finally reached the buck stop with Paige and Chris. Chris wasn't really much on episode 2, reunion part 2, but we did see a little bit of Paige, and we saw how the others interacted with her and tried to uplift her a little bit as well. What was your kind of thoughts with Chris and Paige in reunion part 2? Go for it, Jack and Glenn.
I thought him coming back again apologizing. I know people get tired of him apologizing and him saying he's sorry. And again, the manipulation aspect of it. Stop acting like a child. You wouldn't have to apologize. You know, you mentioned he was in the car, and this is my thing. Paige keeps running behind him. And somebody got on my channel and they went after me saying, you know, you keep making excuses for Chris, and you keep you probably not raising a Chris. I'm not gonna raise a Chris. But what I am gonna say is this: I'm not gonna raise a Paige neither. Which means she's not gonna keep chasing after a dude that don't want you. She's not gonna keep coming after a man that why does she have to keep chasing after a grown man and try to convince a grown man to come back to a place that he doesn't want to become, where he come back to. And what happens is he keeps expecting her to come back. If Paige would have set her butt in that seat, didn't move, Chris would have came back and had his tantrum much sooner. We don't know how long they were out there, but we do know from the reunion, not from the reunion, from the decision day, she spent 6 hours to make a decision to stay with this dude and not have a conversation. He's in the car pounding. I'm not coming out till Pastor Dwight leaves. Does Chris run the show or does production run the show? Because this dude makes a lot of demands. He made a lot of demands for this show. And they honored a lot of his demands. I would have been done if I was Pastor Cal. I would have been done after he made me wait an hour to meet with him. You know, I'd have been done. He's telling Paige to take her microphone off, and nobody from production told him, hey, you can't do that. She's keeping her mic on. You know, she took it off. So again, with Chris and Paige, I'm glad she come to herself, and we find out why she didn't want to tell her friends, because Nancy's about that life. You know, Nancy said, yo, we'd have met Chris. We would have met that dude if she had told us what was actually going on. We'd have made, I'm gonna use Artieka's thing, we were gonna make TV. You know, Nancy was getting ready to make some TV, you know, and her family gonna make some TV. So I think Chris and Paige, wish them the best. We just realized that they wasn't meant for each other. And she wanted him to, he wants her to have the best life. I think Kevin asked a question about the divorce being final. And they're like, yeah, they both gonna get divorced. Like, come on, Kevin, you didn't really have to ask that question. We all know they're gonna get divorced. But I think, you know, Chris and Paige, I think she's getting it because now she has support. And I think her friends won't let her go back to that type of relationship again. And she didn't have to want it for herself, though. Now, are they gonna be guys like Chris and her DM? Yeah, because they know that she's a sucker.
They now know, yep.
They know she's a sucker.
Yep.
Or was a sucker, or whatever. I'm not gonna say he is now. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. Was a sucker. Maybe she grew since then. Amen.
We hope so. August, love, go for it.
Chris and Paige. I like, honestly, man, like it irked me that she would continuously. I felt like she was taking up for him, and then has to sit there and looking at everything that's happening, has to sit there and say, hey, I don't like that. I don't like what he said about me. But you knew these things. Like, it's like, man, you got to hold, at some point, you got to say, yeah, Chris is messed up. But then at some point, you got to look at Paige and be like, well, why did you allow this to happen? Now, I hate it when people be like, you know, we all are like, we have to protect our women. We have to protect our black women. And, you know, vice versa, you know. But obviously, we see Chris wasn't doing that. Didn't have the heart to even think about protecting her and helping her out, knowing that something was wrong with him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you see this situation, you see this train wreck. When they came back, back to like the beginning of the episode, the reunion and stuff like that, Paige basically was just out there. Like, he left her out to dry for the rest of the reunion. So it's like, man, that ain't like, come on, man. And you still protecting this guy? Like, he would have been for the streets. He's on his own. You know what I'm saying?
He was for the streets. Chris equals the streets. I just think that Paige is probably going to end up in some type of other crazy situation because she's having a hard time disconnecting herself from things. I don't get what the allure is in running behind someone that obviously wants to exit. He has tried to exit her life several times, And with her, like with his exit, she still gets up and she's like, no, I need to save you. I need to protect you. I need to help you. And at some point, you have to realize that the person that needs saving and the person that needs protecting is you. When you're on a plane, they tell you to put on your mask first before you help somebody else in the event of a crash. She needs to put on her mask first and help herself and save herself, because something's just not connecting there. And it's just like you're willing to take this absolute bottom of the barrel of a relationship. Like, I could get with the whole, he had a kid, we're in this process, like he got somebody pregnant right before this process started, and I'm going to work through this with you. But like beyond that, like, you call me ugly on more than one occasion to my friends, and you still were trying to have sex with me. Like, go somewhere, get out of my face, and move on. Like, let's just do these 8 weeks that we have to do. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Move on. There's nothing to talk about at the reunion. We're divorcing. It was a wild ride, wasn't it? That's it. Only commentary you're getting out of me. They wouldn't even want me at the group when everybody got back together at the end, because I wouldn't have had anything to say. Every time the camera came back to me, I'd be like, I'm divorcing him. What else you got? Because there's nothing to talk about. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand what all of this is. It's really like, it doesn't make sense to me. And yes, Vivian, I have a problem. I cut people off easily. It doesn't take much. I can do it so easily. Like, I don't even think about it. Like, but the thing is that I'm very compassionate. I'm very caring. I love people. But like, if you try to mess over me, like, as I tell Tommy all the time, like, a lot of my exes have died in my mind, because if you do something crazy to me, like, you cease to exist. If I saw you out in the grocery store, I would look through you. You could be talking to the person next to me, and I'd be like, is somebody talking? Because I didn't hear you. I'm that type of person. It's probably a character flaw, and I'll own it, but it is what it is. I could not have done that situation with Chris at all.
I think what Chris said, what Paige said to me that was most shocking, was she said, I was committed to the process. I don't know if y'all remember her saying that. She's like, I wanted to go through the process. But again, the process of being ridiculed, the process of saying not being liked, the process, and I'm sitting here thinking, at the process, you was almost out the door. You was when they met at the little gazebo outside, whatever. She was gone till production made her go back. I think we forget. I don't want to forget that, because she was out. She let production talk her to go back to more abuse and to more trepidation, to more ridicule, to more being put down. It's not that much process in the world. And she said, I don't have low self-esteem. I disagree. You have something that made you want to think that you can save this guy. I don't know if anybody's been a lifeguard. They tell you when you can't save the person, either you need to knock him out or let him drown, and get yourself back to the shore. But she was allowing Chris to continue to pull her down. She was allowing him to continue to pull her down. And I think that was the biggest key that everybody was mad at. Not that we don't think Paige is smart. Not that we don't think Paige is pretty. Not that we don't think Paige is. But again, people, fans, listeners, reviewers, bloggers got mad because she kept being in a situation that we knew wasn't going to work out. TV show or not, guess what? I didn't sign up for this. Y'all can have, matter of fact, y'all ain't got to pay me. Keep the money. Matter of fact, I give you the money out of my bank account. I want me. I want peace in me. I want happiness in me. That's the type of person I would have been. Like, you know what? You ratchet, this, that, and the other. I'll be there 8 weeks just chilling. If I can't take it no more, you know what? Here, y'all gonna find me $50,000? Let's write that check. Take this, I'm gone. But look what my man Zach did. Zach never even showed up. Zach was like, you know what? I'm gonna do the bare minimum. I'm gonna live at my house. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna play with my dogs. I'm gonna do whatever. Done deal. And she could have pulled. She could have pulled Zach.
I hear you on that. Yeah, she could have. She didn't have to be there. And on the show, they actually said that she, they did tell her. So it's not like she wasn't told this, but she felt like she wanted to. She felt like this was her ring of fire. Like, just to go through her trial and temptation that she needs to go through to almost prove, I think obviously, she probably has her own reasons why. Maybe she thought she wanted to break her curse. She wanted to kind of, show that she could actually do it and get married. But, it was just, Zach, we've seen in previous seasons, you don't have to be there. When Brett decided enough was enough, man said enough is enough. McGann, yeah, he went. You understand? Zach and Mindy, when Mindy said is enough, she said, McGann, is enough. Like you don't have to be there. The problem is Chris is the bad. Like when I look at Chris and Paige. There's some really, I call it dark arts with Chris and Paige, but there are some parts in there like when you were younger. This is the game. You know there's a girl that feels you, likes you, and you can do whatever you want. You can sleep with her today. Tomorrow you will ignore her for the next 2 weeks. You'll come and message her again like, hey, how you doing? She's like, you haven't texted me for a long time. Well, it's been busy. You come over again. You kick it again. And that's essentially what Chris was doing to Paige. But there was a worse part, which was that he was doing some really hardcore manipulation tactics in terms of, his ex-girlfriend and bringing that all in. You know what I'm saying? But I think that with Paige, she just needs to take a bit of time out. Hopefully it looks like she has, because obviously the film last year, and recuperate, man, and just get the therapy going, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Because there are going to be some hunting lions out there who are looking at Paige thinking, me next. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the way the world is sad, but that's the way the world, like, some men out there are thinking about how you are the next victim for them as well. Because if you can give Chris that chance, Chris didn't even love bomb you, I'm gonna love bomb you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do bits at the beginning to make you feel like I love you, and then diminish you. She didn't get that with Chris. That's what scares, I think, a lot of us. So, yeah, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. I don't know if anyone else want to add before we can bring it to a close. No.
I had something, but I don't forget what it was.
I thought it moved by itself, then I realized it didn't.
The baby back here just tearing up stuff. So
it'd be interesting to see Paige in 5 years, who she does end up with. I mean, I wish they do a Where Are They Now, dealing with her and Chris. Not just her, just in cast in general, all the people, where are they now, to see where they're at now. Because a lot of their marriages, some people are still going strong that stayed married. Yeah. I don't think anyone who's decided to stay married got divorced yet. But,
next week is Where Are They Now, but I'm not sure if this cast is included in it.
Yeah. From what I heard there is another episode with this cast. There's one more episode with this cast.
I don't know if it's with this cast. They just said Where Are They Now, and it didn't include itself as being season 12 the way that I saw it, but that doesn't mean that it is or isn't. Because, they did that, I want to say, right before New Orleans aired, where they caught up with the couples and then some of the singles.
Yes, I saw a preview that it is this cast that we're now. So it is like, I don't know if it's next season, whatever it is, but it's one more.
What'd you say, Coach?
I said my contract's up, man. I'm tired of these people, man. I can't.
I hate to break it to you. It's one more episode. I was like, I hate to break it to you. We're not gonna be talking about it.
They are dragging this season out.
Honestly, they're dragging it, and it's just I want to break and recuperate, because we're back in July, so it's like I want to recuperate. They're trying to drag, because I'm seeing that I think there's 3 episodes, not just one. There's 3 episodes. Where Are We Now? There's another special show, they're trying to drag us all the way back to July. I'm like, no, June I'm gonna rest. I'll come back in July, fully fresh, and we'll go again. But we're not gonna drag me. Yeah, you ain't gonna drag me to July. Okay, you ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
They're doing some things with this cast, because again, I think they realized what they got with this cast, because there was so much ratings that they decided, you know what, we got some gold here. Let's go back, and they just continue to beat a dead horse.
It's annoying, but I just think to myself, hour and a half. If I just felt like they dragged certain parts which didn't need to be dragged. Could have shown us a bit more about the other couples if you needed to. Do you know what I'm saying? It was just like, it was just. I just think to myself, you're gonna give me an hour and a half, you're gonna have to keep me entertained for an hour and a half. And I felt like some parts were just dragging. I was just like, you don't need to show this. It's got no context, nothing. Show us a bit more of the therapy sessions that they're having with the experts you didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just giving us, it was just basic stuff. And I was like, I don't need to see him walk across the hall. Get to the action. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I was thinking to myself. And I felt they dragged it a lot this season to try and get more people to watch. Yeah.
That was my thing too. I think what gets me irritated, even at the beginning, you can't give us all 5 weddings in one show in 2 hour in a 2 hour time frame.
Honestly,
to me that was. I told my wife, and I told her when we watched, I said this is gonna be a long season. We can't even get 5 weddings in a 2 hour show.
it's mad. They were really just trying to drag out and see how long we could last, man.
And then you take a break in the middle, no show, and give us a review. Matter of fact, you took 2 breaks. You gave us a mid-season break with Kevin Frazier and his little group, and then you gave us another break at the end. Like, you should have ended this 2 weeks ago.
I'm hearing you on that. All right, guys. Final thoughts, and then we'll round up. Final thoughts on this season. Oh, have we already done our final thoughts? Was that it?
I'm done talking. No thinking, no thought.
Hey, just follow all of us on social media. That's my final thought. Just follow us on YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, everybody. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button here. Go watch some of our other videos. If you missed any of these, go back and catch some of these up. And share wherever group you're in. Share it. If you share it in Reddit, share it on Facebook, share wherever. We're not trying to get kicked out of Reddit and sell our about promoting our own stuff. But go ahead and you share it. And hey, just keep watching. Wait for July when we come back.
Yeah, also 2 things. Tommy and I both have separate podcasts outside of the one that we do with each other. So we have August Love Story that we do on Wednesdays. I have a podcast that is very recent, as in we are 3 episodes in. Episode 4 comes out tomorrow with my cousin, Crystal, and it is called Mother's Milk. So if you guys are interested in anything dealing with like mom life, millennial parenthood, things like that, we do have that come out every Monday. It's not a visual version or on YouTube. It's just strictly wherever you listen to podcasts. But it's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of those type things. And then Tommy has another podcast that is called Speaker Geekers Podcast. It's all about music. He's done guests such as like one of my high school classmates who is a classically trained bassoonist. So like they touch music from classical all the way to hip hop. And I'm double invested because also my little cousin is one of the hosts of it. So 2 podcasts outside of the August Love Story one. So if you guys do listen to podcasts, I would love it if you guys would support us with those.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you said that. We got one too called Matrimony Thoughts. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. We started last year. We're getting ready to kick it back up. We might have a video in audio version of that. So it's called Matrimony Thoughts. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify now, or myself, Jack, and Glenn. At Matrimony Thoughts. So you can find it there. And also, if you're into wrestling, you can check out the Wrestling Marks for Excellence, which is my other podcast that I do. I am a big pro wrestling fan, so you can check that out as well. So,
cool. Love it. Well, guys, it's been amazing. It's been fun. It's been an interesting journey we've taken. You know what I'm saying? This last few months. I know the seasons. I'm thankful the season's done. They Paige and Chris dragged it out for me, and I'm kind of hoping that obviously the next season in July will be a little bit lighter. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind a bad couple. I don't want to be seeing people getting dragged. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want to see. So, yeah, audience members, thank you so much for coming on here and supporting us throughout this journey. We'll be back in July. You'll see these lovely faces, I'm sure, and we'll have some more, great talks and reviews of Married at First Sight, season 13. All right, stay locked, stay loaded, and stay hydrated. Yeah.